alarm didn't go off and I lost track of time. So, well, let's get on with it then. No, it's not bye. Stop trying to get rid of people. Oh, he's been on one today. He's been trying to get rid of everyone. My brother-in-law knocked my door earlier, and the entire conversation consisted of Cookie in the background going, bye, 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 trying to get rid of him. So, ignore him. He's just on one. Okay, right then. Just finished that. Right, now we'll head up here, go and collect our campaign missions. I had someone point out to me about, someone not so much point out, but asked me about why I leave the lore up on the screen so long. I'm actually reading it as I'm going along, as some of you have no doubt picked up on with me commenting about it, but you know, I am a bit of a slow reader, so
I hope you
know, so if it's up there for a while, it's because I'm actually reading it along with you guys. So, no, that's the reason for it. But anyway, another thing I wanted to cover this week is to do with the paladin tank. To be honest, now a lot of people who build the tank paladin actually they end up messing it up because they think it's the same. You build it the same way as the Guardian Fighter. I know I've said many times about the threat generation and whatnot. You know, but it's like I've said many times about the Paladin's powers helping to generate threat for him. You don't need attack power and all that. But there's another thing a lot of people make a mistake on, and that's deflection. They think the Paladin needs a lot of deflection. It doesn't. Defense, it needs more than deflection, because deflect is pointless, because you'll never get your deflection chance up high enough with the Paladin to warrant putting so much in and neglecting its defensive capabilities. The reason why, you know, the Guardian Fighter has deflect, you mean dexterity, that increases your deflection chance. There you go, see, 2%, you'd have to put your stats into dexterity and sacrifice, like, your stamina regeneration or your action point gain with your charisma, you know, or your healing capability or your critical with your wisdom, if you want to put deflection on your paladin. You know, or even your blooming damage resistance itself if you choose to neglect constitution. But dexterity isn't needed as the paladin. The reason for this is simple, because the paladin tank has actually got a guaranteed deflection chance. Unlike the Guardian Fighter, that, you know, one of its secondary stats is dexterity. Constitution is its main, like the paladin, but dexterity is one of its secondary stats if you're building a tank. You know, so dexterity is actually needed for the Guardian Fighter. The reason it's not actually needed for the Paladin is because it actually does have a guaranteed deflection chance. With this, the class mechanics, the Divine Call, say, here you go, the Oath of Protection, which is the tank build. You taunt all foes in a 30-foot area and gain 10% increased damage resistance for 10 seconds. You reflect 5% of incoming damage back to the attackers while this effect is active. A maximum of 5% of your maximum hit points. And the Paladin has got a ton of hit points. You're building a tank and your hit points go through the roof. I mean, my main character is a healer, a healing Paladin, and it's got nearly 200k. It's nearly got 200k health. Now, if I was the tank, you know, I'd have a lot more HP than even that. So you're there deflecting 5% of like 250,000 hit points back at your attacker, guaranteed every single time you use Divine Call, which is why dexterity and deflection isn't a primary or secondary stat for the Paladin, because the deflection only gives you a chance at deflecting back attacks, whereas Divine Call actually guarantees that it will deflect back at your attacker. I mean, part of this is down to the fact that the paladin doesn't have that much offensive capability, and while you're tanking as the paladin, you're not really doing much attacking. Most of your most of your abilities are based on getting like the DPS characters to generate threat for you. The more they damage, like if you use, like I've said before, one of the powers that I use is here, the Bow of Enmity. This as a healer, anybody who attacks your target gets healed. As the tank paladin, anybody who strikes your target builds threat for the paladin. So instead of the DPS characters generating threat on themselves, the more they're generating threat, the more it's actually going on the paladin because they're attacking their target. The paladin builds threat through teamwork rather than solo play. Its attack capability isn't that high for a reason, because its abilities, if you know how to use it properly, it can be a very powerful character. Now, one of the other mistakes I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about, that people also make with the paladin tank, is that they think they have to put tons of power into their character to make it dish out a load of damage. That's not true. All the paladin's really missing is armor penetration. I mean, if you're building a tank, when you're choosing your boons, more often than not, you have to choose between power and defense. As a tank, you need defense more than you need power. As a healer, you need power more than you need defense, because, as I've said many times, that paladin's healing capabilities are all surrounded power and critical. So you need to work on these two stats to increase your healing capabilities. As a tank, you need to be able to take a hit. You need to be able to take a hit, and you need a good amount of regeneration as well to be able to keep yourself healed. People think that you need to dish out loads of damage and rely on lifesteal. That's not true. If you focus on regeneration over lifesteal, because the paladin's got plenty of defense, it doesn't need lifesteal because it's got plenty of defensive capability. So it can defend really well, which means it won't often be in need of healing, because it's got abilities that increases its defense. It's got abilities that buff the surrounding allies. It's got abilities that gives itself temporary health, and it's self-healing. So regeneration is all you really need, because in regeneration will increase the amount of incoming healing that you get. So if the paladin does need healing, even if you've got a low-level healer in your party, with high regeneration, that low-level healer is all the paladin's going to need, because he's going to be healed for like 100k health, even if the healer's only like level 30. So this will not only heal you outside of combat, it will increase the amount of healing you receive in combat, so the healers can heal you for a lot more and instant heal you. Basically, if you've got a good healer, you won't even notice your health bar go down if you take damage, because the healer will just, as soon as you take damage, your health will be straight back up again. So, and again, deflection not needed, because the paladin's capable of deflecting without it. It doesn't need deflection because it's got a guaranteed deflection chance. So put it into defense, not deflect. As a guardian fighter, you will need deflect, but as a paladin, you don't. All you need is this, defense. Defense is all you need, because the abilities that paladin has will increase. It will increase your defensive capability. It will give you temporary hit points. It will buff out your party. There's a load of different abilities that the paladin has. The paladin is actually a very good buffing character. It's not given enough credit. The tank actually has the capability to power share without blooming it's like one of the you go with the feats. It's like, I know one of the if you choose the tank build, these change. The top one, the Paragon of Justice, actually change and give you the option of power sharing. With the healer, the power sharing is down in the healing path anyway, or as gifts, ally within 30 feet of you gain 25% of your power. They must remain within 30 feet of you for at least 6 seconds. You gain to gain this buff. Now with the tank, it also has a power sharing capability, but it also has natural power sharing capabilities as well, which is why it's like Aura of Courage, for example. Your hit points give everyone bonus damage. 1% of your maximum hit points as bonus radiant damage. You know, it's a walking buff, unlike the cleric, which is casting and all that. The cleric is the superior buffer because you don't have to be within range of anything other than its spells, you know. But with the paladin, you have to actually stay near the paladin to get buffs from it, which is why I think a lot of people prefer to do the cleric over the paladin for buffing. But for healing, the paladin is the superior healer because it's not restricted like it is with the cleric, where it's good at healing single targets. It's not good at healing groups, because if you're healing a group, it's in a tiny little restricted area, and you only get heal over time effects with it. Now with the paladin, you can heal the whole group almost instantly with Divine Call. It'll generate a lot of threat for you in the process, but you can heal everybody instantly with Divine Call and Bond of Virtue. Whereas the clerics, it's kind of like where is it now? Is it Banishment? Mind Touch? Circle of Power. There we go, that's the one. It's kind of like that. Circle of Power, you know, you generate a zone of control 30 foot wide. This zone improves damage you deal by 30% and lasts for 10 seconds. So the cleric's healing capabilities for group healing are kind of like that. It puts down a zone, but it's only a small zone, kind of like the archer's one ability, where it puts that and the Scourge Warlock at that, where they put those circles on the ground. With the cleric, it's kind of like that, just a small circle for anybody to go into and heal. That's the extent of the cleric's group healing capabilities, but it's really good at healing single targets. It is really good at healing single targets, but not groups. With groups, it relies on heal over time, but like I said, the paladin is capable of healing the entire group with just Divine Call, even if it does generate a massive amount of threat. Paladin's the superior healer over the cleric, but the cleric is not as restricted as the paladin for buffing. So they're kind of opposites. You want a buff, choose a cleric. You want to heal, choose a paladin. But if you're going to be going for the tank, don't listen to people when they say that Guardian Fight is the superior tank. It's because they keep messing up the build of the paladin tank, because they keep thinking that critical strike is needed, bloody lifesteal is needed, blooming deflection is needed. None of them are actually needed at all as the tank. You want to focus on armor penetration over critical. You know, increasing your power levels, it won't hurt, but don't focus on it when it comes to the booms, because you'll want as much defense as you can get. All you really need to focus on to be a good tank as a paladin is defense. Defense, regeneration, and armor penetration. They're the only three you really need to work on as a paladin tank. Regeneration will allow the healers to keep your health maxed out. So, you know, the better the healer, the more chance that your life won't drop full stop. Even if you take damage, it will be instantly healed, because your regen will increase your incoming healing bonus, which will make the healers heal you for more than they would normally anyway. So your health won't drop if you choose regeneration over lifesteal, because you can't go into things like Fanbreaker Island, any of the epic dungeons without a healer, unless you're doing a private match. You know, but if you're doing a public one, you need a healer every single time. Regeneration will make it so that healer can pretty much make you invincible. Defense, again, over deflection, because, you know, dexterity isn't a primary or secondary attribute for the paladin, and it isn't needed. Constitution, on the other hand, is the primary attribute for the paladin, regardless of whether you choose the tank or the healer. It increases your damage resistance and maximum hit points. You know, defense as well increases damage resistance. And so does your armor class. Also increases your damage resistance. The paladin is set up to be all-out defense. It doesn't need deflect because divine call will make it so, like I said, it will guarantee a deflection and deflect for 5% of your maximum hit points, which as a paladin tank will be at least 250,000. So 5% to 250,000 equals, oh my goodness, you've dished out a ton of damage. So if you focus on deflection, if you focus on your dexterity over your charisma, your action point gain is going to suffer, which means you're not going to be able to use divine call as often, which means you're not going to be able to taunt your enemies to draw threat off anyone, because divine call is one of the key points to be able to draw threat as a paladin. You use divine call, it will taunt everyone in the nearby vicinity, draw threat away from all the squishy DPS characters like the trickster rogue and the control wizard, and everybody will focus on wanting to kill the paladin. But if you don't put points into charisma, if you don't put your points into charisma, you don't need wisdom as the tank, you need charisma. Constitution and charisma is what you should work on as the tank, because it will increase your action point gain, which will allow you to use divine call more often, which will taunt the enemies and guarantee deflection, so everybody in the vicinity will take damage from you using divine call, as well as everybody wanting to come after the paladin. So it's a guaranteed deflection, which is why dexterity and deflect are both not needed. All you need, because of the amount of threat the paladin will generate using divine call, is defense. So make sure you put your points into constitution every single time you're able to level up. You want to make sure it all goes into constitution and charisma. As the healer, constitution and wisdom. As the tank, constitution and charisma. That way you'll have divine call at your disposal as much as you need. And between your armor class, your constitution and your defense, defense will be high enough to be able to cope with the amount of threat divine call is going to generate. You know, and like I said, putting points into regeneration over lifesteal will allow the healers in your party to be able to make sure that that health bar of yours does not drop. You know, as for attacking purposes, like I said, critical isn't needed because you're not going to be focusing on wisdom, which means your critical chance isn't going to increase that much. So, but as the healer, you are going to need it because it will increase your healing capabilities. But as the tank, increasing your power, yeah, that is good. I won't deny a little bit of a power increase is good, but don't choose it over defense. If it gives you the option on the boons to choose between power and defense, choose defense every single time. But if you've got the option to increase your power without your defense suffering, go right ahead. But what you want to focus on is armor pen. Sod critical, it's not needed, it's overrated. As the tank, you don't need it, because if you increase your armor penetration rather than your critical, it's like say I'm dishing out 1,000 damage with 1,000 damage to the enemies with my power right now, and I land a critical. All that's going to do is give me anywhere between 500 to an extra 1,000, anywhere between 500 to an extra 1,000 damage. That's only up to 2,000 damage. That's not really a lot. But if you choose to do armor penetration rather than critical, you'll be ignoring their damage resistance. So it doesn't matter how high their defense is, with high armor penetration, it'll ignore their damage resistance, which will basically mean whatever normal attack you do pretty much turns into a critical with armor penetration rather than critical itself. And then when you do land a critical, on those occasions you do, depending on how high your critical is, it will be for a seriously stupid amount. As the tank, if you try to focus on critical, your defense is going to suffer, which means you're not going to be able to hold the threat you're going to generate as the paladin, because near enough, most of the abilities get tweaked to help the paladin generate threat when you choose the tank build. So if you sacrifice your defense for power and critical, you are going to end up such a weak tank that you're going to be a liability. But if you choose to put armor penetration into your character over critical, it will allow you to dish out some damage, as well as be able to hold the threat and not take too much damage, because you're not sacrificing your defense to increase your offensive capability. You know, so keep that in mind if you're going to be building a tank. I mean, I've almost got my second character ready to build its tank. My main character, should I say, is almost ready to build its tank loadout. I'm just missing one more piece of armor before I build it. But once we've finished the main guide on the main campaign guide, I'll be playing on my main character to do to show you some of the epic dungeons. So I will introduce you to the tank a bit better on that character once I'm actually ready. Because I've seen the refining event's coming up in November, so I will be doing some serious refining during that event to get some of my gear upgraded. Oh, excuse me.
The Lord's Alliance seeks your assistance. I represent the Lord's Alliance. The Lord Neverwinter, as you may know, is a member of that organization. Another member of our group is Florin Icehammer, the leader of a small clan of dwarves near Icespire Peak. The Icehammer dwarves, although small in number, are large in wealth. Specifically, the mithril mines they operate. Their contributions to the Alliance have been both late and short the past few months, and threaten their standing with the organization. Icehammer has offered no explanation for these shortfalls. I would like you to travel to Icespire Peak and speak to Hazra Stormhammer, Icehammer's master of mines.
That's the continuation for the Tyranny of Dragons picked up, so let's go pick up the Icespire Peak campaign.
Protector's Enclave needs your help. If you would credit it, I've heard that the Icehammer dwarves have dredged up some ancient evil on Icespire Peak. I don't know the details, but it must be pretty serious, because they've even been calling for outside assistance to help them deal with it. Neverwinter has profited in the past few years from Icehammer mithril flowing through the port. Since their recent troubles, the mithril is dried up. It might be worth your while to go talk to them.
Oh, you're really on one today, aren't you? Right then. I hope you guys are also making... no, it's not biased. Stop trying to get rid of people, you antisocial sod. Ah, well, you admitted you were antisocial, so shush. Exactly. Anyway, I hope you guys have been making use of this. You can only earn 100 points every week towards the campaign completion. What are they called? Where is it now? Campaigns. There we go. It's easier to do it this way. There you go. For these adventuring accredit. Here we go. Accreditation. No, I can't fucking pronounce that. Excuse my language. But you can only earn 100 of those a week, so you can only unlock one of these each week. You can't do them all in one go. So take that into account when you're doing this. I'm doing it on my main character. I'm not actually doing it on this one at the moment because it's like, you know, this event comes around every few months or so. I think it's about every 6 months, something like that. So I'll do it on this character next time around when it's a bit more leveled up. And what we're going to be doing is trying to upgrade alchemy. Which one do I need? I know I need regeneration. I think it's force. Ooh, where is it? There we go. There we go. Yeah, potion of force. There we go. Put that one on. Alright. Are you trying to sweet talk me, mister? Ugh. Are you Mr. Charisma today? Yes, you are a good boy, but still, not the point. Oh, yeah, exactly, oh. Right then, let's head to Icespire Peak. Are you putting on the charm? Are you putting on the charm? Are you putting on the charm for people, are you? Oh, you want to be part of the guide, do you? You want to stream with me, do you, baby? You want to stream with me? Ah, okay. Will you stream with me then, babe? No, it's not bye. Don't tell people bye. Say hello. Be polite. Be polite and sociable. Right, give me a second, guys. I'll answer the phone. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, let's get down to it.
So the Lord's Alliance sent you, did they? You there! I need your assistance. I am Hosra Stormhammer, Florin Icehammer's master of mines. I have a problem. The goblin attack has cut off production from one of our most productive mithril mines. As I am sure you know, Lord Icehammer is a member of the Lord's Alliance. The reason such a small settlement as ours holds such a position of influence is the mithril in these mountains. If the mithril stops flowing, Icehammer's position in the Alliance becomes quite precarious. All the scouts I sent to the mine have failed to return. I need you to go to the mine and scout the situation. Who controls the mine? What is the condition of the miners? The cult has enlisted the aid of Merithrax, a white dragon as greedy as he is stupid. But don't take him lightly. What he lacks in brains, he makes up for in brawn. If the Lord's Alliance is to retake that mine, Merithrax needs to be put down.
Right then. Oh, round these up already. Oh, okay. Don't kill him, people! Right, please. I know, law, I know. Ah, he looks like he's gonna die just before I get there. He is. Bastard. Yep. Just as we get here. Oh well. Really. As you probably noticed from last week, I'm actually equipped with a different weapon, and they haven't fixed them in Sanctuary. You know, they said they were going to with that bloody update. I got a different weapon equipped. I made, with my other character, I made the, Ari Vandar mace. Oop, oh. Oh, come on, Sanctuary. Crying out loud. Go. Okay. Okay, thank you. That doesn't mean you get to say bye, you stroppy sod. Are you trying to get rid of everyone? What is your problem today? Minutes for Miro to return. Now, since when does return mean leave?
All dead but one? And the cult of the dragon controls the mine? The letter you found indicates the cult means to make off with our mithril. I cannot allow that to happen. Some caution is warranted, though, if Marrowthrax is involved. That dragon is as vicious as he is stupid. Icehammer's miners carry rune necklaces as a form of identification in the event they are killed in a mining accident. This attack isn't an accident per se, but I suppose Lord Icehammer will still wish to compensate the miners' families. Could you recover the miners' necklaces so I can pass their names on to Lord Icehammer? I don't know what they want with that mithril, but I can't let them leave these mountains with it. Their position in that valley can easily be defended against a mass assault. Sneak in there and sabotage their wagons and supplies. Once they run low on supplies, we'll wait until they send wagons out for more and ambush them when the axles break. While you're at it, put out the forge, too. It takes days to get that forge hot enough to work mithril. If you put it out, it will slow them down considerably. Thank you. Now I just need to break the news to the miners' families. Good work! Those cultists won't get very far with that mithril. If only we knew why it was so vital to their plans. I've prepared a ledger for Montgomery, detailing the impact of this cult aggression on Lord Icehammer's mithril production, and consequently his contributions to the Lord's Alliance. Please deliver it with my apologies.
So, you want to help out, do you? Ah, so you're here to aid us. Well, that's good news for both of us. We need the help, and there's plenty of fortune and glory in it for you too, if you can stay alive. These goblins are too organized. I've fought the little runts before, and this isn't like them. Someone is directing them, and I want to know who. Bring me their battle orders. Hunt down their sentries, skull cleavers, or the thrice-damned hex hurlers. Those are what pass for officers among goblins, I suppose. If you can get those orders to us, that'll give us a big leg up on fighting the runts. provided this intelligence badly.
Excellent. Now if those reinforcements from the Alliance ever show up...
No smiths, no tools. No tools, no soldiers. No soldiers, no clan. These goblins harried our operation here for years, but we never expected them to attack in force like this. Our soldiers had to pull out from Prospector's Ridge to the southeast in a hurry, and they left almost all of the prospecting and mining tools behind. These tools took our craftsmen months or even years to build, and now they're being broken and half savaged by those damn goblins. You'll all be thankful that you went and brought us back as much of that equipment as you could. There were still projects ongoing in Prospector's Ridge when the goblins attacked. The soldiers fought bravely but had to retreat and couldn't protect all of the workers there. I've overheard scouts reporting to Baldwin, and they say many workers are being held captive. They're not soldiers, so how will it help the war effort to risk your life to free them, right? Soldiers need weapons. The walls need to be maintained, the catapults need to be repaired. Trust me, having good workers is every bit as important as having good soldiers. You bring those workers back, and our chances improve.
Right then. It's so annoying. I really wish they did fix this blooming rubbish. Where it stops blooming quests appearing. Oh, out of sight. It's right in front of me, but it's out of sight apparently. This guy, don't like him. Crying out loud. Where are you, bot? There you are. One. Crying out loud. Really? Leave me alone. Hey. That means the attitude, guys, but I'm tired of telling people that I stream on Saturdays. Still keeps bloody insisting on messaging me no matter how many times I bloody tell them. So it gets really annoying. Oh. There we go. I know I could have just gone up this way, but see, I like being difficult. Right then. How many do we need? One more. Rejuvenation, force, and fortification. And that's one of the things I'm going to have to do at some point, is invest in some purple quality alchemists. As soon as we get higher on level of my alchemy, I'm going to have to, because things will start taking a while. Ooh, no.
Well done. Thanks for freeing those workers. You know, for an outsider, you're pretty alright.
These winter-kill goblins have us fighting on the defensive. We need to take the fight to them, but we don't have enough dwarves for a frontal assault. You, on the other hand, might be able to do what an army can't. We need you to infiltrate past the goblin lines, cut your way through their warrens, and kill their chieftain, Murgle Mawcrab. Our front lines are further up the mountain, and these opportunistic goblin runts decided it was a good time for a full-out attack on our back lines. Our reserves are holding them off, but we don't have enough soldiers to launch a counter-offensive. I've been tasking all the volunteers I can find with mounting an assault on their tribal grounds. I'm worried about their skilled cleaver warriors. Those are some tough goblins. Kill a few for me, would ya?
Oh, for crying out loud. Bloody mic muted. Oh. Hello, Barge. I say, not a lot. Just, I'm streaming at the moment. I say, doing my guide. So... What are you up to? I haven't been online for a couple of days. Everything will be alright. That's fair. See. Yeah. Okay, well, I'd recommend running some dungeons at the moment, Botch. It's yeah, there's a for a couple more days there's discount on seal costs, so you can buy everything from the seal vendors at half price. Which is a good time to run some dungeons. And the Portobello campaign's on at the moment. You can earn some good rewards from that too. Oh. Right, here we go. Where are you going, mate? Run from me, you cheeky sod. Try and get me to run into the traps. That really matters anyway. My VLP's high enough so I don't take damage from them, but not the point. Cheeky sod. There we go. Oh, that's one thing I've forgotten to do. Right. Let's see. Healing font done. Get the auras finished. Get that started. Opens up that area.
Its foes aren't worthy of our steel.
Hey. Hey, you have to excuse me, bots. I'm live streaming at the moment. The party chat's not actually included in the streaming, but my voice is, so.
Someone's selling magic items to the goblins. It must be that wizard, Marcos. We should have known better than to trust an outsider. Wizard's going to be excluded. Still, to tell the truth, we can really use his help. So, you want to help out, do you? I admit, that was a long shot sending you to kill Murgle. You have the Icehammer clan's thanks. Good work. Nasty little brutes, those skull cleavers. With any luck, that will help slow down their assault a bit. I'd like not to distract any of my soldiers with this kind of task if I can avoid it. But someone has to set that wizard straight. We need his continued support, but he can't keep selling to our enemies. Go speak with Marcos and let him know what you found. See if he's willing to cut us a deal.
Govia.
You have something to tell me. I can tell from your face. What is it? It is true. I have been in communication with the Frost Giants, bartering the few services they would accept for information about the Winterforge artifact. After all, either side might win, and I'd like to ensure my interests. Clearly that is no longer an option. Very well. I will cease selling to the Giants, and I'll even discount my wares for the dwarves, so long as I get a look at the Winterforge when they're done.
Really don't like that guy.
I'm glad you sorted Marcos out. Thank you for sniffing out his schemes. Who knows what aid he may have given our enemies. We can handle the goblins here at Tarundar now, thanks to your aid. But we still need your help further up the mountain. Find Gorora Okyu at the triage camp up on Windchill Reach. She'll be able to tell you what else needs doing.
Right then. Hey, what bot? Ah. Oh, you're doing throwing here.
These cursed giants took our keep from us, but we'll not let them take Tarundar as well. Well, we can use all the help we can get. Bobbin sent you, did he? These ice trolls heal so fast that our troops are having serious problems getting them to stay down. I've asked our alchemist Nalias Gregor to try to concoct something we can distribute to all the soldiers that'll help with that problem. But he needs blood from the ice trolls to experiment on. It'd be a big help if you could collect some for us.
Simple. If the troll was, got a strong defense against ice, use fire. Kill it! Kill it with fire! Yeah, I'm ready. Hey. Boo.
No mind to dig in now. Still, I've got to get mithril for the smiths somehow. Crumpet. Kill this guy by you'll get another quest. Drops an item, which is a good little introduction to some of the later in-game campaigns, like Storm King's Thunder. when you reach Bryn Shander, there's actually 6 enemies like this in Bryn Shander that drop items like this, that will give you quests to get Von's blood that you're going to need for the campaign itself.
then.
Busy, busy! Our soldiers need my potions. What's that shard? What's that shard you have there? Fascinating. Yes, I'm sure I can put this to some sort of use. I'm not sure what exactly, but I'll figure something out. Here, have something for your trouble, friend.
Nalius would be very pleased to have these samples. My thanks. Whenever our soldiers try to push forward, one of the key weapons the Frost Giants use against us is their pack of winter wolves. They wreak havoc in our soldiers' ranks with their icy breath, and they're too tough to overwhelm without serious losses. If you can go hunt a few of them down further up the mountain, we'll be more able to push forward. Be careful. Some of them are the big alpha wolves. When you finish that task, report to our forward field operative, Belloc Forgearm. The Frost Giant chieftain Hrimnir loves to show off his power at every opportunity. When his army captures one of our soldiers, he has them brought further up the mountain, where he freezes them under a layer of ice, trapped but alive. We can't let our brave soldiers slowly die of thirst and hunger like that. You'll find a few of our frozen men a short ways further up the mountain, as well as a forward field operative, Belloc Forgearm. Go and break our soldiers out of their icy prisons, then report to Belloc.
What then?
I defend the weak.
Hey, wow, they're really going at it hard out there with fireworks tonight. Tomorrow's going to be even worse because it's bonfire night. I'm not actually sure whether they intended on putting anything in this area or not, but you come in here to explore, there's actually a little quest that's not actually listed.
We stand against the dark.
Hand that in, come over here, slay the wolves. These guys can be really annoying when you get to Storm King's Thunder. Oh my goodness, they are horrible running around that place. I say I would recommend you stay away from there until you get to at least 8 or 9k, at least 9k item level, I would say, because otherwise you'll find yourself in a lot of trouble.
Watch your back. We're well behind enemy lines here.
Because the wolves will freeze you and the bears will just maul you. Those bears are tough.
Take warning for you killing those wolves. Fewer of those blasted hounds we have to face, the better our chances. Huh? What's this? Orders? These are days old. What? A messenger who had them was captured and killed by the wolves? I only wish I could say this was the last time this had happened. Blasted wolves! Blasted Hrimnir! I've been expecting you. And thanks for saving us soldiers from an awful fate. Unfortunately, there are many more soldiers we cannot save. Only avenge. Hrimnir and his frost giants repay for what they've done. There are still survivors trapped in the Mithril mines farther up the mountain. We've been trying to rescue them, but the frost giants are using some kind of ice magic to freeze over the air vents. If we don't get those open, the survivors will all suffocate. I've requisitioned some Icespire from Malleus back at camp. Here, take it and get those air vents open. The thought of our clanmates trapped down there, cold, alone, struggling for air. We couldn't let it happen.
Oh my goodness.
for the act of mercy, friend. The Icehammer clan will not forget how many lives you saved today. Mr. Mine over there isn't just a mine. Used to be the Icehammer clan's new stronghold on Icespire Peak. When the Giants' army overran us, we had to leave behind many of the treasures stored there, including the greatest clan treasure, the Icehammer. I've received orders from our leader, Florin Icehammer, that the time has come to retrieve our clan's treasure. A frontal assault with our army will do no good, though. It has to be one person or a small team who can infiltrate behind enemy lines. Sounds like a perfect job for you. What do you say?
Say, well, it's always a mission for a blooming either one person or a small team. Apparently, the game's blooming armies are useless.
Our courage lights our path.
See, even on the rare occasions when they do actually take blooming part, they end up captured and you have to save them. Why this game has armies at all, I don't know. Rejuvenation potion, and we're gonna need one of these. Not for long. I say one thing about these blooming mines. The dwarves may be master craftsmen and all that malarkey, but they're certainly not very creative. Because when you finally get the mission, once you hit level 70 for the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, you'll notice that this mine looks very similar to the one used by the Lord's Alliance. Down to the last detail. It's very sad that not even the kits are in different places. Oh, here we go. 75% chance to fail again, apparently. A bit pointless checking the equipment for this area. My character's like level 65 and all this equipment is only like level 40. So which is one of the things that really doesn't make sense about this game. Got all these different areas. They only, instead of dropping equipment that's for your level, they drop equipment for the area's level. But you've got all these ways of increasing your experience, like enchantments, VIP, you know, being part of a guild. And yeah, doing the main campaign still only drops equipment for that area. So when you unlock the later areas, you pretty much get overwhelmed when you're there trying to do later areas with low level gear. Unless you got, like it is now, ×2 professions experience. Your professions take a while to level up for you to actually make gear that you can actually equip. And half the stuff you can make with your professions, unless it's purple quality, is pretty rubbish. The only thing that's really worth making with them until you hit like level 20 with them is basically the shirt and pants with things like mail smithing and plate smithing, because there's the only ways you're going to get those is if you make them until you hit 70, and then there's some places like for example Mantle Della, is that how you pronounce it? When you get there you can get the Drowcraft shirt and pants, which are quite good. And then when you unlock Storm King's Thunder you can get the Frost set there, which are also pretty good, but they don't have a set bonus like the Drowcraft. The Drowcraft, I think that only has 405 item level, but it has a set bonus that allows your normal attacks, your at-will attacks, to heal all your allies in the nearby vicinity. The ones you get in Bryn Shander as part of the Storm King's Thunder campaign doesn't have a set bonus, but I think they, if I remember correctly, they increase your item level by an extra 30. So you get 435 from it, but no set bonus. But they do give good stats. But it all depends on the character, because it gives, for a paladin, they're not really that good. They may give you Everfrost resistance, but that's about the only benefit you'll really get from them for a paladin, because most of it is focused on lifesteal and deflection, neither of which you need as a paladin. But for like a guardian fighter or like a trickster rogue or any of the DPS characters, they will benefit from those. As a paladin, you're better off equipping the ones you can make with your professions, the warrior and defender, exquisite elemental chainmail. You know, because it's like, yeah, I'm not sure. No, I'm not high enough on you yet, because you need to be level 25 in your professions to make the elemental chainmail. You need unified elements, which you can make when you get level 25 alchemy. But you'll need unified elements, dragon eggs, and amongst other things. But even though they still increase your item level by 30, the same as the Everfrost ones you get from Bryn Shander, but the good thing is the stats on, even though the stats on the ones you get in Bryn Shander may not suit the paladin, the ones on the ones you can make with your platesmithing are perfect, especially the warrior one. The warrior one also gives you armor penetration, which is something you're going to badly need as a paladin, because very few things do actually increase it. But the good thing is, don't worry about the Everfrost resistance, because you can actually enchant your shirt and pants to give you Everfrost resistance, because the campaign, the Storm King's Thunder campaign, you can actually unlock the option to buy armor enhancements for Everfrost for your shirt and pants from that campaign, so you can equip the you can equip the exquisite ones that you make with the level 25 platesmithing, and still gain the benefits of the Everfrost resistance. But I do recommend you use them instead of the ones you get from Bryn Shander, because even though they have got a yes, now that I think of it, they do actually have a set bonus. I remember now, it's all based on deflection and lifesteal. I think it's something along the lines of, if your deflection is higher than your lifesteal, you know, when you deflect attack you do extra damage, or if your lifesteal is higher than your deflection, you'll do more lifesteal, or something along those lines. I know it's to do with lifesteal and deflect, and like I said, neither one the paladin actually needs. No, but you can offset the Everfrost resistance, which is basically the only thing that paladin will benefit from, using those shirt and pants from Bryn Shander. All you have to do is just enchant them, and you'll be all set. I've heard people going on about because this line looks so much like the one you do as part of the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. People are like, well, how come you can't go in this area anymore? Because this one is part of the actual campaign. It's actually a different mine, even though they look identical. No. Where?
These foes aren't worthy of our steel.
Definitely a harsh lesson not to take things at face value.
What you really did? This hammer will be a rallying point for our entire clan. The giants won't be able to stop us now. The ice hammer is back in our hands, thanks to you. However, we still don't have the military power to defeat their main army. That's why the ice hammer is so important. Our leader, Florin Ice Hammer, has brought a small band of elite warriors even farther up the mountain. Bring the ice hammer to him, and he'll explain further. much as it grates on my pride to admit it, we can use all the help we can get. The Ice Hammer. With this, we can quiet the source of Rimner's power. Rimner is using the Winter Forge to spread otherworldly coldness to all of Icespire Peak and beyond. Further up the mountain, you'll find icy spires coming up from the ground, freezing everything nearby. I want you to melt them. Here, take this orb. It's made by that traitorous wizard that conned us out of our gold. I told him to make it specifically to destroy the ice spires. It wasn't cheap, but it works and is simple to use. There are too many spires to destroy all of them, but every one destroyed buys us time. Grimnir and his tribe have set up their home near. With all the trouble you made for the giants down at Tarunda and the triage camp, Grimnir ordered 3 of his top lieutenants to personally come oversee things up here. They're fanatically devoted to Grimnir, and just as merciless and cruel. They call themselves Grimnir's Hands. They need to die. What do you say, adventurer? Feel like testing your mettle against some frost giants?
Rage tends to do that too. Where is he? I hate these giants. Someone kills them, you gotta wait for them to bloody respawn. I don't really want to equip that and take the loss to the armor pen, because the paladin gets such little armor penetration until they hit 70 and start getting artifact equipment and whatnot. Getting the better equipment, I don't really want to sacrifice the armor pen. Oh, actually, I actually wanted to go the opposite way. I know I'm backtracking, but reason for it. Ooh, nickel nugget. I'm a treasure hog.
Good work destroying those spires. The more frozen wasteland those spires create, the more advantage the frost giants will have over us. That's some impressive work there. With the hands dead, their forces will be that much more in disarray, and that much less prepared for our next attack.
Miro spawned.
Name's Orift. I'm in charge of our scouts and spies here in the White Cracks. Florin ordered me to bring our best scouts and spies with us here to this forward camp. Even now, they're watching the giants' every move from deep behind the enemy lines. The problem is getting that information back from them so we can make decisions. Before I sent them out, I instructed them to leave messages carved into the stone of the mountain for us to find. And I'm expecting some of the reports back very soon.
Why did I know you'd wake up
Trek a ways up the mountain and bring back the communications they've left for us.
You sent me food, mister. I do apologise for talking over the quest description there, but Cookie's in a bit of a sensitive mood today, so he's just having one of those days. remember where these are. I do remember there is actually one that's just outside. Really, Cookie? Are you giving me where's mine eyes? Are you giving me where's mine eyes? I'm sorry, baby, but you can't have chocolate. But what I will give you... Say, but what I will give you is one of these. You go. You go. Hey, thank you.
Messages from our scouts, eh? Good. Any commander worth his rank knows the value of good information. With all the victories you've helped us win, we're going to be moving against the Frost Giants in force soon. Take out some more of the Frost Giant army on your way up the top of the mountain. It'll be a big help when the time comes for our army to strike. By destroying those spires and slaying the hands, you've dealt the giants a mighty blow. We may have the opportunity now to deal even more damage, if the information you collected from our scouts is correct. Talk to Orif Mountwatch, my spy master here. He will explain to you what it is that we would ask you to do.
Are you ready to climb to the top of Icespire Peak? Listen closely. Our two best agents, Aaron Rockstrider and Rurik Hillhill, are stationed at the very top of Icespire Peak. In their messages, they said that there was an opportunity for a small force to strike a blow against the Frost Giants. The message was too short for specifics, however. Florin and I agree that this opportunity cannot be passed over. We've just completed digging out our secret tunnel to Jotunstead. Take the tunnel, then climb up to the top of the mountain. Make contact with the two scouts and see what exactly this opportunity is.
Look forward to that. No, he wants another peace offering. You go. You're not happy I didn't share my chocolate. Here you go. You can't have chocolate, baby. It'll make you sick. You go. don't appreciate being launched. Hello? Okay.
Oh, it's good to see someone who isn't part of the Frost Giant army. What brings you all the way up here? So, the path is clear now, eh? Pretty impressive. Unfortunately, it's only me here. That information we sent back wasn't easy to get. Rorik didn't make it. Notice the winter wolves in Grimnir's army. Well, Rorik and I found out where they were coming from. Not only that, but we found the big one. Their patriarch. Naturally, we're going to have to put the big dog down. If we strike too soon, though, it's a one-way trip. I need you to kill a bunch of these wolves and trolls on this ice shelf. Lest I fight on the way out, you know.
Determined not to let me level up alchemy. Hey. See. Those obelisk of defences kind of look similar to the Thayan's phylacteries. Oh, for crying out loud. These are the reason why I always keep the Aurora's Home Realm catalogue on me. Even if I switch it out for a different artifact, I always keep it in my inventory. Because even if you've got the maximum VIP, the level 12 VIP, you can't buy the kits if you need them off the professions vendor. All you can do is buy professions assets, so you'll be able to sell stuff to the professions vendor but not buy kits and whatnot. So I always keep the Whole Realms catalogue on me. It's very handy.
You're something else, aren't you? Fewer trolls make easy work. Nice. Now that you've created a distraction, you have a small window where you won't be trapped inside if you go into the Rhymehound's den. Well, I mean, you probably won't be trapped. Hey, don't look at me like that. In this business, we don't deal in absolutes. But really, this might be our only chance. The den is right nearby, and inside is the last major obstacle standing between us and the giants. Go in and kill that Rhymehound for me, would ya?
These foes aren't worthy of our steel.
I'm not going to say no to one of them. Arcane crystals definitely come in handy for my professions. That's a rock. What's the matter, Crumb Crumb? You creeping for another treat? You creeping for another treat? Do you want another monkey nut, do you? Do you want another monkey nut? Is that what you're asking for? Is it you want another monkey nut? You want another monkey nut, right, okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm not giving you a monkey nut just for the sake of it, you know, mister. Oh, don't give me, Oh, don't cry. Say please, and I say please, and I might consider giving you one. There's no crying. Come on, if you say please, I'll give you one. But I'm not going to give you a monkey nut unless you say please. Oh. No, no guilt trips. Yeah, I'm ready. Oh. Why say ready then cry? Say you're laying it on thick today, you are, mister. You're laying it on thick today, you are. Soon Dwarf Mountain will be back in dwarf hands. You're not liking the fireworks, baby. Don't you like the fireworks? You don't like the fireworks. I don't blame you, baby. Say they're very loud. There we go. Right. Enough. Yeah, I'm ready. Say. Peekaboo. Oh, don't give me those faces. Oh, crumpy. Fireworks have been going off a lot today, but it's okay, baby. It's okay, it really is. Peekaboo! Ah, really? Here you go. Here you go. Thank you. He's a good boy. See, all this campaign equipment makes me laugh. You pick up better gear off the enemies you kill than you do from the rewards from the missions themselves. It's stupid. It's like I don't know anybody that's equipped these. I mean, look, 6 armor class, 194 power, 232 defense. You know, it's like, what the heck? Makes no sense. Saying the shield that I've got equipped, I got from Cathraxis. It unlocks when you're in Neverdeath.
I defend the weak.
They're nice. Peekaboo. No. Here you go. Oh, thank you. So, if you're wondering why I'm doing the resources, for the most part, over actually doing the plates, it's because of the fact of, if you look, you use more of the charcoal doing the 15-minute ones for only 2 than you do for doing the 7-hour ones. It's like you use 8 or 4. So 8 of them for 4 of them, or 8 of them for 8 of them. And it's like, okay, well, rather do the 7-hour ones for them, because you can use the purple quality guys to bring the time down, so it doesn't take as long, and you'll get them in. You'll get plenty of experience for doing it that way, and not have to spend as much replacing your resources all the time.
Oh, it's good to see someone who isn't part of the Frost Giant army. What brings you all the way up here? Not many people could have made it out of there alive. With the Rhyme Hound dead, things will be much easier up here. Before you return to Florida, I need to ask you a favour. Ora selected me and Rory to plant our flag atop Icespire Peak. They picked us because we're the best, but even we're not perfect. We got ambushed further up the mountain. Rory didn't make it. I'd like to tell his family that his last mission was a success. If you could find Rorik's body, you could recover the flag and plant it right at the gates of that Frost Giant's home. If you could do that, I think Rory would be pretty happy.
Ugh. Wrong one. Yeah, that's the one good thing about being higher on level than the area. You could just run through the enemies without them attacking you. If you're 10 levels or higher than the enemies in the area, they'll leave you alone. Grumpy, grumpy, grump, grump, grump. Are you amused? Are you amused? You're amused, you baby. Here you go. Hey, thank you. Oh, there you go, thank you. Celebrations! Yeah, what did he say?
Rurik wasn't the first partner I lost. He won't be the last. It's never easy. Thanks for helping me out with Rurik's flag. Anyway, we need to let Flora know about the Rhinehound. I still have intel to gather up here at Peak, so it's up to you to deliver the news.
Moonsault, that's definitely gonna help. Ooh. Yeah, I'm ready. Oh. Yeah, I'm ready, say. Peekaboo.
As much as it grates on my pride to admit it, we can use all the help we can get. The Rhinehound is dead.
Nico.
I see that Aaron and Rurik's information was invaluable to our efforts. The tide has turned in our favor now. Victory is within our grasp. You have turned the tides of battle on Icespire Peak.
You have freed the Mithril Mine, given me back my hammer, slain our enemy's most deadly servants. You have done more than we could ever ask. Return to your friends in Neverwinter, and tell them they shall have the friendship and aid of the Icehammer clan, for as long as I draw breath. Us a great deal against the Frost Giants, friend. Not long ago, stopping their advance seemed hopeless. But now we're poised to strike at the very seat of Hrymnir's power. We'll split their forces in 3 ways. Our army will keep the bulk of the trolls, goblins, and winter wolves occupied. I'll lead a small strike force and cripple the Frost Giants here in the White Crags. I want you to take your own team into Hrymnir's stronghold itself. Once my mission is complete,
yeah,
I'll
ready.
join you. Are you prepared?
Okay. Woo. Oh. Right then. Peekaboo! That is the trek. Now is the trek back to Bloomin'. I say back down the mountain. Here you go. Say, but if you're lazy like me, you can just do this. They're nice, Crump Crump. Oh, yeah.
Greetings, adventurer. All is quiet at the moment.
Right then. And that's unlocked the tyranny. Then unlock the Icespire Peak quests for Tyranny of Dragons. Once you hit 70, you'll start getting them.
Your help. With Icehammer Mithril flowing back into Neverwinter, our warriors will be far better prepared for whatever comes next.
There we go. Well, guys, that's this week all done. If you have any questions, feel free to post your comments on the video on YouTube, and I will try to answer any questions you might have about the game. Next week, like I've said many times before, we'll do all of the dungeons in one video. But next week we're gonna go to the chasm, which unfortunately the dungeon has actually been taken out of, at least the normal version of it anyway. The epic one is still in the game, but the normal one is gone, unfortunately. But we'll be heading to the chasm next week, and then the week after we'll be doing Rothay Valley and continuing the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. So I hope you'll tune in next week, and hopefully next week my alarm will go off and I actually start streaming on time. So I do apologise again for that. But I hope you all enjoy your weekend, and I hope you enjoy next week, and I will see you all again soon. So, take care, everyone.